to the Couch Sports Talk podcast, back with another fucking episode for your ears, and if you're lucky, maybe with your eyes. And today we had some very interesting fucking activities happening. We have a team that's going to be needing
I need water.
a lot of it, and they're going to have a lot of time to be doing it at home. But before we get into that game, how the fuck are you guys doing? And also, before we get even to that, welcome to the Couch Sports Talk Podcast. This is where we talk about sports and we get the sports the same way that you do on the fucking couch, being fucking fat blobs on the couch like true Americans. That's the way we live life here. All right. So, Phil, philanthropist, how the fuck are you doing, young man?
Thank you, brother. I am in complete disbelief at the basketball game I just watched, the Clippers and Nuggets. I cannot believe what just happened. So I'm excited to get
Shocked.
started on that. Shocked, flabbergasted, one might say.
Yes, sir. And Young E, how you doing, man? We had first week of football, and then we also had some great games today. How you doing?
Hyped up, man. I've just been watching hella sports, not doing anything but watching sports every damn day. I'm really enjoying it. I had some great basketball today, had some great football, had some great conversations about football on Friday. Our fucking records for picks were probably terrible. I'm saying
Yeah,
at
okay.
best we're 10-6 this week, but no, I don't think we did very good. We'll have to look back on that, but hyped to talk about this Nuggets Clippers game. Nuggets Heat coming true.
Okay.
You really called that.
So before I wanted to kind of get into the Heat and the Celtics first because that was the game that happened first. But I am feeling so much emotion just as a basketball fan, and you guys are too, from the game that just happened. We just witnessed one of the worst fourth quarters from a team that was really favored to win it all we've ever seen. I mean, it was just a total collapse. We had George Paul make a very special appearance late in the game, can't even hit the fucking rim, and when he does, it barely even grazes it. And then Kawhi, he disappeared, man. You know, it's unbelievable. The first 7 minutes of the fourth quarter, 0 points for this Clippers team that has no problem scoring the entire season. They have players all around that can score. They have a great team. They pass the ball around. They do exactly what you're supposed to do in basketball. But then Jamal Murray and Jokic came through from mile high and said, what the fuck is up? We came to run up Orlando, coming with the two back-to-back 3-1 comebacks. It's never happened before. I am in awe. Philanthropist, as someone who is a huge basketball fan, someone who's been watching it since you were just a little itty-bitty baby, what are you feeling right now? What does this moment here mean for the NBA and for sports fans everywhere?
Man, it's a lot to take in. I think the two words I would use are shocked and sad. Sad because I'm not a Clippers fan or particularly a fan of the organization or how they've handled this year, but this was the best team in the league, point blank period. When they are maximizing their talent and they're playing at their best, they had the best roster in the league. They had a top three player and a top three coach as well. So I'm very, very surprised that not only did they blow a 3-1 lead, but that they lost this game 7 on a neutral court. I'm really, really, really surprised that Kawhi Leonard had as poor of a game as he did. He's 14 points, 6 for 22. I'm not surprised at Paul George at this point. He's shown that there's some type of mental block, and I don't want to harp on Paul George too much. I mean, he's a guy that's overcome a lot of adversity with, breaking his leg in the middle of his career. And obviously he talked a lot openly about how being in the bubble has affected his mental health. And, I empathize with him on that. But at the same time, on the court, you got to show up. And he just didn't do that tonight. He went full pandemic P and hit the backboard on a late open corner three. Overall, was just a no-show for the Clippers. And really, this bothers me because some of the best basketball we could have possibly seen was going to be a Lakers and Clippers series. We've been waiting for that all year. It's been highly anticipated. I think those are the two best teams in the league, and I'm really upset that we're not getting that. At the same time, this is a winner-takes-all league, and the Nuggets, they went out and earned it. They came back from 3-1, 2 series in a row, and point blank period, they had the two best players on the floor tonight with Murray, number one, and Jokic. And this is a team on the up. They've played 4 Game 7s in the past 2 years, and they're 3-1 in those Game 7s. And they have a great coach, a great supporting cast. And I think with the way Jamal Murray's played, we can say they have two superstars now. So as sad as I am to see the Clippers go, I'm even more excited to see the Nuggets, take that next step and be a true title contender every year.
Definitely. And I think one of the biggest questions we had, right, coming into this bubble was how was it going to affect teams? And clearly,
yeah. And we saw that.
Of course, we got to give credit where credit is due, but oh my goodness, being on the neutral court really does make a huge difference. We'll probably never ever see someone do 3-1 comebacks back to back like this ever again.
No chance.
He talked a lot about the Clippers and his disappointment. You have been a big fan of the Nuggets coming up here in the playoffs and in the bubble. Can you give us some positives that you've seen from the Nuggets and how you're feeling about this game?
Nuggets got that hot.
Okay.
Hot. I just want it to be known that Phil was hating on the Nuggets' heart, saying that Doc Rivers
not true.
and
I'm
Kawhi
combined
for
that is not what I said.
Six champions, so they had the heart of a champion, and they had better heart than the Nuggets did. So I didn't want to hear it. I like this game. First half, I thought was very ugly for the Nuggets. A lot of missed shots, a lot of missed open threes. I don't know what the Clippers were doing all game. I guess it worked in the first half, kind of. It stopped working towards the end of the second. But they were just double teaming either Jokic or Murray on every single play. The entire game I watched, they were double teaming Jokic or Murray on every single play. And in the first half, or majority of it, the Nuggets were missing those open shots, like almost 100% of the time. And it was a close game. Clippers were up by 2 points at half. But I was thinking to myself at halftime, I went out and I walked my dog, and I'm thinking to myself, man, the Nuggets aren't playing their best game, and this game is this close. What's going to happen when they're able to turn it on? Like, other than Jamal Murray, no one, and, Jokic was doing it, but he wasn't scoring like that. So other than them two, no one was really turning it on. And then in the second half, we saw Millsap turn it on. You saw Jeremy Grant actually make a few shots for fucking once in his life. What's that one guy? Gary Harris made some shots. Plumlee came in late and kind of played clutch on defense. So Michael Porter Jr. is ass forever in my book. He's fucking cheeks.
I'm upset that he got vindicated.
He makes me mad. He missed a couple wide open threes tonight and was just not helping the team. And
hey, to be fair, he was getting some big rebounds.
No, he was, but other than that, he really wasn't doing much. And there's a lot of guys that can come in and get rebounds, bro. That's just my opinion. But Nuggets, good team. I'm excited to see them against the Lakers. I think they're gonna give them a harder game than they're running for. I hope the Lakers don't get ahead of themselves like the Clippers do. I don't know if you guys heard, but at the beginning of the game, the announcers were talking about before Game 6, Doc Rivers reserved a dinner for the team after Game 6.
I heard that, yeah.
After the game. I kind of think they got ahead of themselves, especially at 3-1. And then, I hope the Lakers don't do the same thing, because this Nuggets team is not a team to be slept on. They are good, and they can sneak up on you. And I think any given night, if it's a Game 7, they can run the floor with you, and they will give you a run for your money. So I say watch out. This is going to be a good series.
Yeah, I'm excited. And there was one quote brought up during the game that I really liked, and that was, if you're juiceless, then you're useless. And that is exactly how the Clippers
are playing.
And
who said
it was one of the commentators.
I think it was Mark Jackson. I think it was Mark Jackson.
Rare W from Mark Jackson.
But they were quoting another coach. So
yeah.
I don't remember who it was though. But my biggest thing with the Clippers is, man, they walked into this series every single game acting like they were gonna win. And in a way you should be playing like that, right? Like you are going to win and you're putting in the work, but at the same time, you got to have that fear in you. This is the fucking playoffs. You need to be playing when it's the game's 3, you're leading 3-1 and it's game 5. You need to be playing like you're down 3-1, especially when you're in contention to win that fucking chip. So the energy that was being brought out, and, like I said earlier, Kawhi's not going to bring that energy. I think somebody else is going to have to do it, and they didn't have that player on the court tonight. It seems like they're kind of lacking a third option. They just can't decide who that third option is going to be. They have a lot of players who could step into that role. Obviously, their team is very deep, and they play great defense. And, I think they're going to have to make changes. I think this current team isn't going to get it done, especially when your expected second star puts up 10 fucking points in a game 7. And I know why didn't play well either, but the way that George Paul has played this entire series, it's inexcusable. When you're getting shown the money like that, you need to fucking show up every night. And you can have a couple bad games here and there, but to have as many bad games as he had this playoffs, inexcusable.
Facts.
He's dropped down all the way down to like way past, like, he's not even the top 30 in my opinion anymore. He's making me fucking mad.
Wow, I don't know about that.
This is just my initial reaction.
He still contributes on defense.
But I will say, I am excited to see Denver get a shot in the Western Conference Finals. I always talk about how I like new franchises getting into those positions. And it'll be really interesting. I don't even remember. I don't know when the last time the Nuggets were there.
2009.
Yeah, 2009. And, Carmelo couldn't get it done. It's okay. But it's cool.
Not.
Okay, it's not cool. Okay, we all would like to see him get a chip. But, at the end of the day, I think that I'm going to be interested in seeing AD versus Jokic. And Jamal Murray's quickly become one of my favorite players. I seen the potential last year when he took the Trailblazers, obviously with the help of Jokic and the rest of his teammates. But he did a good job, I thought, in the series. There was a couple of times where he struggled, and, you could see the flashes. And I think those flashes are finally coming more consistent. He's big time. He steps up in those big moments, and, he kind of has that confidence and that dog in him that reminds me a little bit of someone we're going to get to in a bit, someone that's my background here. But I'm really liking the way Jokic and Jamal Murray play off each other too. And I think Murray does a great job of setting up Jokic, and it works even better because Jokic does a good job of setting up Murray.
Yeah.
Two of them together, they work perfectly. I'm really interested to see what this next series will be like. Philanthropist, do you have any little quick tidbits you want to give on and opinions here on this next series for the Lakers and the Nuggets?
Yeah, I have a few things. I mean, really my first thought with all this is that I really enjoy the NBA when there's no overwhelmingly favorited super team like the Warriors in previous years or the Big Three Heat. It's just like, it's not expected for the Nuggets to beat the Clippers, but it was never considered impossible or outlandish, Yeah. Like at no point was I thinking it's inevitable the Clippers are going to win. And I really enjoy, and I want people to maybe take better appreciation for this moment because it's not going to last forever. There's always going to be a new super team, but this year is one of those rare years where really, especially with no home court advantage, it's almost a completely even playing field. I mean, of the 4 teams left, I'd probably say the Lakers are the best team by default because they have the 2 best players, but they certainly don't have the best roster or the best depth or the best coach for that matter. So really, it's anybody's game from here on out. As far as the next series goes, you can't count the Nuggets out at this point for any. I don't care if you're up 3-0. You got to play every game like it's a game 7. So I think, of the teams left, I think the Lakers are the best equipped to deal with that. And, LeBron, the last time he lost in a playoff series that wasn't the finals was 2010 at this point. So I'm going to put my money in that basket. I think he has the mentality and the physical ability to get that done. With that being said, it's going to be a tough fight. I mean, the Nuggets literally at every single position except for small forward, I think they win that matchup. Arguably with Jokic and AD, it depends. But, point guard, I'm taking Murray. Shooting guard, I'm going to take Gary Harris. Power forward, I'm going to take Millsap over Kuzma or JaVale or whoever's going to be playing there. The bench, I'm taking the Nuggets bench. And coaching, to be honest, I'm going to take Mike Malone. over Frank Vogel. So
Wow.
it's going to be a tough, hard fought series. But at the end of the day, I think the Lakers have the two best players. And I really would be surprised if AD comes out and has a no show like Paul George did. And that's going to be the difference to me because the Nuggets have gutted these two series out because when push came to shove, they had the two best players. And I don't think that's going to be the case.
Yeah, I agree with that a bit. I'm interested to see how AD is going to continue handling this pressure as it keeps building on and they keep advancing. It'll be very interesting. But kind of keep the show moving on here. We're going to move on to the next topic. I'm going to let Young E get this first one in. Man, Miami Heat came to play today. Came down to the last second, of course. How can it not, of course, with those two gritty teams? And they went to overtime. We had Kemba putting in the work. Man, that step back in the OT, I thought it was going to finish it, look clean. Jimmy came back, got a 3-point play, man, with that layup. And then I was actually really surprised. I thought that shot from Tatum at the end was going in. That shit was way closer than it ever should have been. That was a great shot down. Young E, I know you're super hyped up about the Heat. So what are your first initial reactions after that game?
Man, I so because of work, I caught the last 2 minutes of the third, and then the remainder of the fourth, and then overtime as well. So the Heat played really bad in the third, and they played really, really well in the fourth. And just from what I see from the Heat is they just have that fight in them. The entire team has that Jimmy Butler. They got that dog.
Would you say that they have heart?
They got that heart, bro. Hold on. The Heat got that hot. They got that heart, bro. They are in it to win it, bro. I see Tyler Herro putting up in the late game. That shit's getting me hyped up. He did it last series. He's doing it this series. I'm starting to think he's legit going to be a playoff clutch performer. We already know what Jimmy Butler's doing in the clutch. He can take over the fucking game with 4 minutes left and just put up 15 straight points and do what he does. And he's one of the best defenders in the league still to this day. And then you throw all defense, first team, all defense, center, Bam Adebayo in there. And, bro, game-saving block, fantastic play. I don't even know what to say. I'm so hyped up about this team. Phil is giving the Celtics so much love, and I just want him to recognize that
and the Heat too.
No easy put away.
I want y'all to know Young E be on some fake news shit. And he's acting like we hating out here.
If look back at these previous episodes with Phil talking about the Celtics, okay? He's talking about easy 4-2 on the Raptors. And then he was talking about easy 4-2 on the Heat. And now we're in a different predicament.
I mean, okay, a few things here. First of all, I do like the Celtics a lot, and I also like the Heat a lot. Okay, the Celtics should have beat the Raptors 4-1, and the Raptors really gutted out a win after they got a godsend from heaven.
Nope.
A three-pointer with half a second left. Okay.
Game 7.
And speaking about this game and this series, okay, I mean, listeners, I love the Heat. Don't listen to Ethan. They're a great team, fantastic mentality, great coaching, great roster. So I'm not even going to address any more about me not liking the Heat.
I actually think
allegedly
the Heat are a team that personifies what you like in a basketball team, actually.
Yeah, no, definitely. 100%. I personally think the Celtics also do, and they just have a slightly better roster and the best player too, which I'll get into. But speaking on this particular game, this is one of the best games I've seen. Probably the best game I've seen this year, particularly in the fourth and overtime. I mean, it was just back and forth. Kemba, Jason Tatum, Jimmy Butler, Goran Dragic, Bam. They were just going back and forth, play after play after play. And oh my God, dude, when Bam had that block on Jason Tatum at the end, I literally jumped out of my seat and started yelling. That was one of the best plays I've seen in 10 years. Probably the best play I've seen since the Ray Allen shot. Like that block, his hand was bent backwards and the ball was halfway down the rim and he still got it out somehow for a game-saving dunk. And then the next play, Jimmy Butler comes back, hits that three-point play for the and one. Jason Tatum was draped all over him and fouled him, had both hands straight up in the air. He, Jason Tatum, he's like 6'10". He's really tall. and he got that shot up over him and hit the free throw. And then Jason Tatum comes back, falls down, picks the ball up with half a second left, and he almost hits the shot.
Mossed him.
I'm telling you right now, this is going to be the best series this year. I thought it was going to be Raptors and Celtics. The Raptors didn't show up. I know it went to 7, but they didn't really show up. It's a little closer than you would think, just looking at the series outcome. This is the best basketball you will see this year, hands down. These teams are coming to play. They both have 8 dudes that are legitimate playoff players, 8 rotation guys who are going to come in there and put in work. And this is must-see basketball for the rest of the way. With that being said, I also want to touch on the fact that Jason Tatum needs to get his recognition as a top 5 NBA player right now.
Whoa.
I said top 5.
Hot take.
5.
Phil's bringing the hot take early.
He's 22. He is 22, and he's out there putting up 30, 15, and 10 in a playoff game. I saw this kid. I was in Las Vegas. I was with Jordan. We were in Vegas. All right. I see this dude go up in a game 7 against LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers at the time, and he dunked on LeBron in the 4th quarter like a poster. He's different. He's built different. He has the mentality. He has all the skills. And to be honest,
was
2 years ago. Yeah, he was 20. And I'm telling you right now, if that shot he put up with half a second left was 3 inches to the right, they're going home with a dub today. And that's the margin of error that you get this far in the playoffs. So I'm extremely excited for this series, regardless of who wins. We might be talking about the champion coming out of this conference.
Okay. I like that. I'll say, as someone who has supported the Chicago Bulls all their life, I had seen Jimmy Butler come up in his young career with the Chicago Bulls, and it just made me sad that they decided to trade him to the Timberwolves and move forward in a different direction, because I like everything that he stands for. He was someone who was a late first-round pick, and he really fought himself into getting fucking 45, 48 minutes a game with Thibodeau.
Lord knows Tibbs.
Yeah, but I feel like, Tibbs kind of got that mentality from Jimmy. He knew Jimmy would be willing to do that shit. And that dog, can kind of rub people the wrong way, and he's going kind of hated by the media a little bit for it, but also I think on social media, they love it. They love the way that he was treating Cat and Wiggins.
Yep.
Don't be fucking soft. And then with the Sixers, I thought they had a very if they would have kept Butler, that would have been great for them. He's the guy that would have been the leader on the team. He gelled everybody together, and as you've seen this season, everything kind of fell apart. And of course, their coach kind of sucks ass, but thankfully he's not there anymore. So I do love seeing Jimmy Butler on this team. He has a great coach, and also Pat Riley. I think Jimmy molds into that player that they're really wanting to represent the franchise. And of course, he spreads that to everybody, because that Bam block, that's, like you said, that's one of the best plays I've seen in a long fucking time. And people are comparing it already to the LeBron on Iggy block. It's in those big moments, and you don't usually see that on defense. You're always, always remembering those moments happen on offense.
Yep.
But Phil, we've talked a lot about the positives of the Heat here. What lost the Celtics the game? What were they doing wrong this game? And what do they need to improve on if they hope to win?
I mean, look, man, the Celtics pitched if we're talking in baseball terms, the Celtics pitched a no-hitter until the last inning. They gave them their best punch. The Heat were just better today. And it came down to that block, where that block was the ball was halfway down the rim, and Bam got it by his fingertips. That's how good these two teams were tonight. They just dogged it out into overtime until the very end, back and forth. And it just so happened that the Heat were that much better, and it could swing either way both nights. But in terms of X's and O's, I think what they need to look at is maybe Tatum straying away from some of those contested mid-range shots that he's kind of fallen in love with. But at the same time, your shot takers are shot makers, and you got to kind of ride with that. I think Kemba played pretty well, all things considered. I would be concerned about the fact that Marcus Smart had 25 points tonight, because you're not going to get that every night. So I would look for that production from someone like Jaylen Brown. Additionally, too, the Celtics, they don't have someone to contest with Bam. They need better big man depth, and they just don't have that right now. So I'm interested to see if Spoelstra tries to exploit that in the series or not. I know Bam's not necessarily an offensive threat, but if you can get some pick and roll action with him, get him rolling to the rim, you never know what kind of chaos that can create. So I think this is going to be a deadlock series. It could go 6. I think it might go 7. We'll see. But man, I just can't wait for the next game.
Young E, real quick to finish off this topic with the Heat and the Celtics. How many games do you see this going?
7. It's a grind series. It's going to go 7 games. I see at least 3 overtimes.
3 overtimes?
Including time,
I love it.
including tonight's. Like, I don't mean like no. I mean 3 separate games with overtime.
No, I know.
I want it.
And then I see a potential double overtime game. We got really close to it tonight. So this is a big game. I love these teams. I love what they brought to the table today. I wish I could have got to watch the whole game. Hopefully next game I will, but I love it. I'm excited for the series.
Yeah, I'm excited for the series. And, if I'm the Celtics, I really do not want to go down 2-0. I think that if you're going to – either team, you don't want to go down more than 1. I think that it's going to be real hard to climb back against whether it's the Celtics or the Heat having to climb back. It's not like going to be like going against the Clippers and having to, go up against Pandemic P, handing you some dubs every once in a while. It's not going to happen with these teams. All right, that is our basketball bubble talk. We're going to be real interested to see what's going to happen in these next few games. We now have the Lakers facing the Nuggets, and then the Celtics and the Heat will continue there.
Nuggets Heat.
And I would love a Nuggets Heat final series. That is Young E's pick. We thought it was, I wouldn't say blasphemous, but we really thought it was a reach.
It was out there.
Yeah, out there, definitely. And I will be more than happy if that happened. That would be fantastic. But moving on to the NFL, we had week 1. Great fucking football. It was definitely strange having no fans. I know we get great reactions from basketball, but, from football, it seems it's sometimes it's a little bit more live. There's more people in the crowd, in the stands. You see someone get their head knocked off, the whole crowd goes, ah, ah, ah. And then, the touchdowns and the celebrations with the dancing. It's something it's something that you don't even have to be in the stadium to feel. There's a certain energy that football brings to the fucking fans. And there were some shocking games, and there was also some not so shocking games. I'll go ahead and go first. We'll just tell you one of the biggest things that I took away from the weekend, and that is, man, y'all fucked up giving Cam Newton the chance to be on the Patriots. And y'all fucked up letting Bill Belichick have the chance to coach Cam Newton. And you could tell by the way that they were calling the plays, because I watched the whole game because I'm a Dolphins fan and I got to live like that, and it's just a really sad life. But the way that I've seen it, Josh McDaniels looks like he's very excited to have a running quarterback. He gets to have a whole new play set that he's never been able to work with before. They've been kind of stuck in, I wouldn't necessarily say old-fashioned football. It's kind of more of a modified version of that when they had Brady. But, they were still doing a lot of under-the-center stuff and a lot of quick screens, and they're able to change things up here. So I think a lot of teams, especially with the shortened offseason, no preseason, I think Patriots are going to get off to a fast start here because there's going to be not that much film. And I think people, too, are also underestimating what Cam Newton can do for some reason. I don't know why. I
wonder why. What do you think it is?
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
No, it's terrible. And then, like we've talked about before, the Patriots, they're so good at play design, especially with trick plays and getting like Edelman involved in that shit. I really am interested to see as the weeks go on what they're going to do with Cam in those situations. Young E, since I let Philanthropist kind of finish that basketball talk off, I'm going to go with you first. What was your biggest surprise from the weekend? And how you feeling about Lamar, baby?
My biggest surprise from the weekend, and man, I was excited about this, and I got to peep in a little bit of the fourth quarter. But them Jaguars, man, everybody wrote them off. They were 32 on every single power ranking before the season, and man, they came in, they put up a hell of a game. Minshew, 19 for 20. 19 for 20.
Jesus.
Wins them the game. gets me hyped up. One other person I want to give a shout out to, Mitch Trubisky, clutching it up in the fourth quarter. I don't know if y'all saw that touchdown. I know Jordan doesn't have Snapchat, but I sent like a 50-second Snapchat to Phil of me being extremely hype of Money Mitch.
No, we're not calling him fucking Money Mitch.
Money Mitch after getting the game. So he got that dub against the Lions. Hyped up about that. I'll have my orange jersey by the end of the season. Don't trip. He's gonna hold the job. To get to the Ravens, man, this man above my shoulder, he's a bad man. He's one of those bad men. He had something going this week. I don't know if it's that the Browns are just absolutely fucking awful. They actually, play calling and coaching wise, looked, other than the fourth down fake punt, which we all kind of knew was coming. At least once we knew, at least I think Jordan called it, at least once in the game we knew they were going to do some Brown shit like that. They had that, and then at one point in the game they had a 3rd and 41 and a 4th and 41. So they're still up to their typical Brown shit, but I think they've improved coaching wise, and I think in the long run, maybe this season, maybe next season, it's going to work out for them. But Lamar tore that ass up, got to go out in the fourth quarter, didn't even play the full fucking game. And the biggest takeaway for me was his deep passing. It was the biggest downside for everybody. Can't pass outside the numbers. And there was an ESPN stat that I saw that passes that travel more than 20 yards, he was 9 for 10. And last season, he was 44% in such passes. So, good start. Nice to see. Really looking forward to it. One last thing before I get done with football. I just want to say I saw some of the power rankings today, and overall, I just want to say they're pretty bad. Bleacher Report, NFL. One thing that really stuck out to me, and I'll get to this, was CBS, because CBS just was ridiculous. CBS had the Steelers at 4 and the Ravens at 5.
Oh, Jesus.
It was Chiefs, Saints, Packers, Steelers, Ravens.
The Saints?
And then both the other ones had the Steelers in the top 8. Okay, so from what I saw Monday night was, I'm going to be 100% real with you, for 3.5 quarters of that game, 2 bottom 10 teams in the league. And 100%. Steelers have a top 3 defense, and they looked awful. And so I don't know. That shit really pissed me off today, though. So CBS, I just want to say, y'all put out them shitty-ass top 10 lists. We covered those on one of the first episodes. Y'all put out these shitty-ass power rankings. Fuck you. Fire editors. Get some new fucking people in there that actually know what the fuck they're doing. What the fuck?
I never really try to look at those power rankings. I feel like a lot of the time they put shit in there just to clickbait, especially with shit like the Steelers. They know that'll get a lot of clicks because there's a lot of Steeler fans out there. But Philanthropist, besides them, CBS, I mean, they should hire us to do those rankings. But besides that,
definitely.
What was some of the biggest surprises from this first week of the NFL? And then, what do you got to say about your Niners, man?
Oh man. Well, for surprises, I'll keep this one short. But how about that bad man in Green Bay, huh?
4 of them.
He's a bad man.
Nice.
Whoa! This brother's on another level. I'm just trying to tell you something.
Talk to him, Stephen A. Talk to him. But hey, no, for real. I think we may have been giving the Vikings a little bit too much love. I think they're going to take some time to get used to the new offensive coordinator there. And, I saw some signs of maybe the playbook opening up for Green Bay and them trusting on that passing game a little bit more. So I think they're a team to watch out for. I'm going to keep my eye on them. But with honestly me not being very impressed with the Saints' performance and obviously what happened with San Francisco, we could have a new top dog in the NFC, and it could be the Packers if they keep that up. But we'll have to see. It's a little too early to tell.
Seahawks.
Yeah, the Seahawks too. That they deserve their praise as well. But yeah, those are just my thoughts on a surprise for the week. As far as the Niners go, I think it was a surprise to many people, but I wasn't surprised one bit. I had told you both on the pod that I had a lot of concerns about the team this year, and they seem to have been proven true. Jimmy G, you look at his stats, you think, okay, that's pretty good. That's not that bad. But anybody who watched him play on Sunday would be very alarmed with what they saw. He was just missing badly. Even on some completions, just not putting the ball in the right place. He damn near got George Kittle killed. And he is still hurt. We don't know if he's going to play this week because of that. Beyond that, the bigger issue is that we just do not have good receivers right now. Not only are we missing Deebo Samuel, but also Brandon Ayuk was out. We went out today and got Mohamed Sanu, who the last time we saw him, we saw a second-round pick be traded last year for the Patriots to get him, and he played like complete garbage all year long. So we'll see how that pans out. I'm hoping that gives us some type of injection. But overall on Sunday, man, I think it was 85% of the passes we threw were to our tight ends, running back, or fullback. And you can't win that way. You need to have some type of threat at receiver. So I'm concerned. I'm really concerned. The defense looked very, very overwhelmed with what Kyler was bringing to the table. And from last year, I noticed that we had a lot of problems with mobile quarterbacks. Russell Wilson, Lamar, when we played him last year. So, there's a lot more mobile quarterbacks in the league this year. I know, it's a lot to ask of a defense to try to contain those types of guys, but, he cut our defense open, and Hopkins had a career day. Our secondary was getting burnt. Overall, the Cardinals just came to play. They looked more sharp. We didn't look sharp at all. So, thankfully, we're playing the laughingstock Jets next week. So hopefully we can get that into gear, get a win, and try to build some momentum off of that while our guys get healthy. But in the meantime, yeah, not a good showing from the defending NFC champions.
Yeah. And, I think one thing that we should all take into consideration, and all the, big media sports opinion guys that throw out the hot takes like they're pancakes. They didn't have, shortened off season, no preseason. I've seen a lot of sloppy play from literally every team in some moments. There's going to be some things that need to be ironed out. I see like a team, maybe like the Eagles, who, they shouldn't have lost that game to Washington at all.
Nope.
They just, little bit of miscues, and then maybe like a team like the Giants, there'd be some situations, they'd have a drive where they're having literally 20 to 25 plays in a drive and then fuck it up at the end of the drive. And those are things that you kind of need to iron out a little bit. So like I've talked about before, I think the younger teams are going to struggle in the beginning, and we kind of seen that play out just a little bit. But I did want to touch on the Cardinals. I did say that was my upset of the weekend. And, man, I love the way Kyler Murray looked. I love that he's going to be running a little bit more, it looks like. And DeAndre Hopkins, man. D-Hop, he came to fucking play. He said, y'all show me the fucking money, so I'm going to show y'all what the fuck I can do.
Yeah.
Career high 14 catches. And, he looks like he's going to not only torch some of the corners there, but he's also going to allow more opportunities for someone like Larry Fitz.
Yeah.
And some of the other playmakers. And then, man, you have Larry Fitz, D-Hop on the outside. Do you know how much running lanes that opens up for Kyler Murray in the middle? Like, it's just absolutely insane. I think this team's going to be good. And I like Cliff. He's he's a stud. I think he brings that juice to that team. I like it. Another big takeaway that I laughed when I seen it. But Josh Allen had one of the worst throws that I've ever seen from an NFL quarterback. Absolutely horrendous, rolling out of the pocket. I am confident in saying that I believe all three of us could have hit that throw. It may not have been pretty, but we'll at least get in the vicinity to where an NFL receiver can make a catch. That shit wasn't even close. He looked like a fucking running back throwing the fucking ball. I don't understand what the fuck that was, but overall, hey, but the Bills, they won the game.
Had a good game.
So I'm not gonna hate too much, and he had a good game.
No, I was hyping up that you said a running back throwing the ball, because that's kind of what I think of when I think of Josh Allen.
Yeah, Fair enough. Fair
A little
enough.
bit. Maybe a fullback.
And another thing is, after watching, I talked about the Patriots earlier. I think they have a really good chance to just simply run away with this division again. They're gonna have to go through the Bills, but I'm still having my doubts with Josh Allen. I think he can be very good, but I don't know if he's ready yet. And the fucking Jets. Why do you still have Adam Gase and Sam Darnold leading your team? Okay, I understand Sam Darnold, he's a young quarterback. You drafted him really high in the first round. But fuck. Give him a better coach than Adam Gase. That man's never going to have a chance. I don't understand what they're doing. They look like shit. The Jets will be Jets, and I'm happy because of it. Another thing, I was extremely happy with the Rams. They impressed me, and
big time.
Cowboys made me laugh. Tragic. I love it when they get these Sunday night fucking games. I've talked about it before. They don't fucking deserve it. And they didn't deserve it again. I'm glad they fucking lost.
Really?
They have all this talent. They have Amari Cooper. They have CeeDee Lamb. They have Ezekiel Elliott. They have Dak Prescott. They have a top 5 offensive line. And they have very, very good pass rushers. They have a solid defense. And how do you say the linebacker's last name for him?
Vander Esch?
Vander Esch?
Yeah, Vander Esch.
He's hurt.
Yeah, he got hurt, and I know that hurt the team. But, with him in there, they have a very good team.
Broken collarbone.
It's just so funny to me how much hype year after year they get. And I understand the Rams look like they're going to be a good team, and it was their first game in their stadium. But, there's a couple times during that game where you just expect to see more from the Cowboys. Young E, going back to you, going full circle, was there anything else that you wanted to say about what you've seen from week 1? And what are you looking forward to in this next week?
Man, that stadium, by the way.
Yes, very nice.
That was something.
$4 billion.
Last thing I want to touch on is I saw last night's game, Titans and Broncos. It was a good game. And one thing I really did see last night was Drew Lock has a ton of potential. I don't know if he's all the way there yet. And some of the players need to figure out their drops. Judy had 3 really big drops last night. Really big drops on first down plays, on third downs that were going to be first downs. Big drops, and they need Cortland Sutton back. But I think this is honestly a team to watch out for. And I think if Sutton is back next week, they're going to beat the Steelers. But that is just the last thing I wanted to touch on.
What about Gostowski?
Titans played a good game. He's on a short leash. I give him one more week. If he misses another kick this next week, he's done. And they bring in someone else.
It fucking hurt to watch him miss.
So bad.
Every single one.
4.
You just cringed. Yeah, all fucking 4. You want to yak. I couldn't believe it.
He hit the game winner, though.
He did.
From 20 yards, though.
Yeah, it's like a chip shot, but hey, take it.
Philanthropist, any last words on the NFL for this week? And what are you looking forward to this next week?
Well, let's go back to the Cowboys because they lost by 3 points. There's a very, very questionable no call or call on the offensive pass interference. So, I'm not ready to write them off just yet. The Rams, I think, are good. I don't think there's that much shame in losing by 3 points on a bad call, potentially, to a good team, especially on the road. So I'm not ready to give up on them yet. We'll see how it plays out, but the Rams do look very good, and that's something that I had predicted coming into the year, is that they would bounce back, and that the NFC West would be one of the best divisions in football, which I think it's on its way to being. As far as what I'm looking forward to this week, I'm playing your ass in fantasy, Jordan, so I'm looking forward to putting 5 on it.
Fucking claps.
Hey, I don't know if Jordan put 5 on it with me last week.
Nah, he knew. He was scared.
I totally forgot about it. Did you? What happens with that? Do you send like a request?
Yeah, and then you have to accept it.
Yeah,
just on the matchup.
I must have not seen it. I'm tripping.
But Jordan knew he was gonna get clapped, and I think I doubled his points last week. So
front runner Ethan.
Okay.
Hey, so I want to get into a hot take real quick
Go for it.
We are coming down to
Wait,
the
I got one more word.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
If Odell is going to continue to just take up space on that offense
Mm-hmm.
and
He's gotta
require all of these targets, not get the receptions, and then also continue to be very lazy after the catch. That's what it looks like to me after the catch. He's looked very lazy. When he was on the Giants, he would make plays after the run that were, you would expect more out of a running back. I haven't seen the same energy from him. It may be because he has too much shit on his chest, but he needs to step it up. Okay? He's supposed to be the number one option. I just don't get it. I really don't. This offense did very well before he got there, and it seems as if he's only hurting just being there. I think Baker does a very good job of spreading the ball out. You saw that in his rookie year. But when you have Jarvis and then you have Odell, you're going to start forcing passes, especially with someone like Odell who needs to be fed the ball like that. And, of course, you're going to want to. He's a superstar, and he should be getting the ball like that, but only if he's performing well. So I think there's a couple of weeks here, and, next 2-3 weeks, he's not playing up to par as what he should be. And, even last season, I don't think he even played up to the level that he should have been playing. I think it's time to start shopping him around. I don't know if, you keep him on another season, he has another struggling season. You're not going to get much out of him. He's going to walk away in free agency. Get something while you can.
Mm-hmm.
I think, a team that might be wide receiver hungry. I can't give you one off the top of my head, but one that's
I got a place for you. I got a place for you, Odell.
Okay,
You want to come to a bright city with nice lights again? We got a place for you. Hey, if it's a third or a second, come on down to San Francisco. We could use that. Plenty of girls out here who will do anything you want them to, bro. I know you got some weird preferences, but that's okay. We don't judge.
Judging on the chest. They shit on the chest out there.
Mm-hmm.
We accept all sex positions here in California, especially at the Bay. Anything you want to do, it's all fucking game. Get your nut off,
keep it up for you,
and get your tubs on. That's what we're expecting here.
Okay.
All right, Young E. To finish off the show, we're gonna get into some hot takes here. They're sizzling. They're hot. They burn your cheeks. Give it to us. What do you got for us this week?
All right, bro. So I've been thinking about this today, and I think this was true even before today's elimination, but it really rang true to me after today's elimination. The Lakers, right now, out of the teams left in the playoffs, have the worst coach, the worst depth, the worst supporting cast.
Yep.
And outside of their top two players are not even close, by far the worst team in the playoffs.
Go. Stop.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing, bro. Who is their third best player? Is it really going to be playoff Rondo right now? Because
playoff Rondo is
not
their
okay.
best player. Let's get it straight.
Okay.
Don't sleep.
But
Don't
mean, like, I don't know. And I don't expect Danny Green to step up, so I'm worried about the Lakers.
You're going to be surprised. You're going to be surprised.
If LeBron has a bad game one night and AD has a bad game another night, that's a potential 2 losses right there. If they don't both play their best basketball every night, I think it's a potential L for them. If LeBron and AD are playing their best basketball every night, I don't think the Nuggets can hang. But if one of them has an off night, the Nuggets are in there, and who's to say that can't happen 4 out of 7 games in a series? But overall, my hot take, outside of the top 2 players, by far, worst team in the playoffs.
Okay. Fair enough. I like that hot take. Philanthropist, give us one that's sizzling. Give us one that's going to give us blisters.
I'm going to go right off of his hot take, and I agree with everything he said, and they still have the best chance of winning the championship because although their guys are not young, they don't have potential to grow, they have 4 champions on their team, which is the most out of any of the remaining teams. And they have the 2 best players out of anybody remaining as well. And what that does is that championship level role players, they know exactly what it takes to win, and they have that heart to do it. And what that means for somebody like Rondo, for example, is He doesn't care if he goes out there, he gets 0 shots. Okay, he can get 0 shots the whole game. He knows his job is to play defense and to make smart passes and bring the ball up the court, and he'll do that for 48 minutes if he needs to. And that's something that these new teams, they just don't understand yet. You're going to get something like a Pandemic P performance from a role player where they look completely like, you think about it. Michael Porter Jr. is playing. Yeah, Lou Dort or like Michael Porter Jr. playing 20 minutes for the Nuggets.
Fuck.
Tell me, you play in a game 7, right? You're going to have one role player who's going to play 20 minutes. You want Rondo playing those minutes or you want Michael Porter Jr. playing those minutes? Or like the Celtics with Brad Wanamaker or Daniel Theis. You want those guys playing?
The Celtics are much deeper than that.
They are, but there's going to be 2 or 3.
You're looking at the Lakers 3 and you're looking at the Celtics like 6, 7. That's not fair.
But you also got to realize, though, in these big games, there's going to be 3 players on your team that have 10 shots or more. That's even stretching it. For the Lakers, it might be 2. You might have 2 players that have 15 plus shots. Everybody else is getting 4 max. And it's going to come down to, can your team beat those 2 guys putting up 15 shots? And I'm looking at the rest of the teams. I don't see anybody who I fear like that. I think the best player other than LeBron and AD left in the playoffs is Tatum. After that, I'd probably go Jokic. And I don't think either of those guys by themselves, or Butler, or Butler. Yeah, I mean, that group is like this, but like the LeBron AD tier is up here, and then the second tier is probably like here. And that's no disrespect to those guys. That's just the hand they've been dealt. So I would put my money on the Lakers. By no means is it a favorite. It's just a guess, an educated guess at this point. And I think that championship experience and having the 2 best players is going to put them over the edge very slightly.
Okay. That didn't give me blisters, but that gave me some warmth coming up here. I like that. Thank you, philanthropist. My hot take for the day is going to be kind of the same thing. It's not going to be too hot. It's just going to be, a little heat pad on your back when you're feeling sore. Something comfortable.
Something that tonight.
Facts.
But what I was going to say is I think philanthropist, the Niners, man, they got to be cool. They gotta be careful with moving forward here. They can't go and lose these games, especially in the division.
Nope.
The Cardinals, like we talked about, they look like they're going to be pretty good. The Rams, like we talked about, look like they're going to be pretty good. And we all know what that bad man, Russell Wilson, I think he's getting up there in that bad man tier. He has been for a while, actually.
Yeah, he is.
Man. And this is going to be a tough division. You cannot go and lose these crucial divisional games, especially week 1, and you just lost the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? They should have came out with that energy. I didn't watch the game in full. I couldn't tell you if they did or not. But I know it was a close game.
Lots of penalties.
Lots of penalties.
Mm-hmm.
So, maybe it should lack of, shorter off season, lack of preseason. Maybe that's why, and they'll iron it out. We'll usually see that as the season goes on. The great teams, they make adjustments and they fix those problems and they find ways to work around them. But I do know lack of receiver is hurting the Niners there. So, man, they just got to be cool here. It could be like week 6, and if they're not careful, if they have 2-3 wins losses, 2-3 losses by week 6, they could be definitely. Because especially, you like to think with the 3 playoff spots you could get in there, but when you have all 4 teams in your division that have the potential to be in the playoffs, you really got to be careful, and you can't afford to have a slow start.
Nope.
So that's my warm take.
I agree, and I'd go even farther. Just to briefly add on to this, I think now that we've lost the Cardinals week 1, I already consider us out for the division title race. I 100% consider us a wild card team only now, because I just don't think we're going to – I think to win the division, we would have to just sweep the rest of our divisional games. Beat the Cardinals, beat the Rams twice, beat the Seahawks twice, and I just don't think that's possible. So right now I'm only focused on the wild card as a Niners fan. That's all that I'm allowing myself to predict on.
And at least there is those 3 spots now, right?
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be nice. You guys got any final things to say, man, before we get going here and ending the show at all? Any last words?
I had a good fantasy week.
Oh, yeah. Good luck to everybody in fantasy.
Yeah.
Good luck, fantasy.
My only thing is a word of encouragement to all NBA Twitter users out there. I need to see all the Pat Bev and all the Marcus Morris slander in the next upcoming days.
And George Paul.
Yeah, and Pandemic P. Let's see it all. Let's bring it all on.
I feel like he doesn't even deserve the George Paul name anymore.
I like Pandemic P.
Yeah, it's a step down. Like, you know what I mean? It's just a little bit worse.
Just a little bit, yeah.
Young E, what about you? Last words. We had a great week 1 in the NFL, and we're having some great basketball here. Is there anything going on in any other sports?
We had a double overtime tonight in NHL in an elimination game, and the New York Islanders survived on a last string double overtime goal by Mr. Anders Lee. So they will be going on for a game 6 and potentially a game 7. The Dallas Stars have already won the Western Conference, so we are waiting for whoever wins that to win Stanley Cup. MLB is winding down to the playoffs. I'm not fucking paying attention. The Diamondbacks suck ass. They're going for the number 1 pick right now. I'm with it. I know the division is really good. I think we're rebuilding, so I might not be paying too close of attention to baseball for a while, but we'll see. We do have a guy that's in the Cy Young race, and I'm with that.
Okay.
And I guess within the last week, there was like a journeyman player who threw a no-hitter, so that's kind of cool too.
Okay. And right now, real quick, could you tell us what your AL winner and your NL winner is right now? Just where the season is right now. Who do you see winning?
Where the season is right now, in the AL, I'm taking the Minnesota Twins as a surprise pick. They've played very well this year. I think we're going to get some new teams. I think the Yankees can't stay healthy. Aaron Judge and Stanton coming back this week, and I think they'll be injured again real fucking fast. Can't stay healthy. I'm taking either the Minnesota Twins or the Oakland Athletics out of the AL. That is my ALCS this year. NL, I am taking the San Diego Padres. They have been fantastic this year. They are a young, up-and-coming team. I have seen them clap my team's cheeks multiple times already. And by clap them, I mean clap them cheeks. So San Diego Padres and then either Oakland Athletics, Minnesota Twins, one of those two teams. I think it's going to be fun to watch the playoffs. So lots of teams this year. 13, I think it is.
Yeah.
Something like that.
14. Yeah, I'm going to start watching when it hits the playoffs. I'll be honest with you. You know, it's I don't know. It's been cool. I've watched a little bit of the A's, and they've been doing some great things, so that's been exciting. It's been a couple of years since they've done that, so excited to see that. Philanthropist, thank you for being here. Young E, thank you for being here. Thank you for taking the time. Also to the viewers, if you like this shit, man, give it a fucking like. We're so tired of y'all. Y'all be watching this shit, not giving it a like. Are we really that ass? Come on. Give it a like, subscribe, help us out. One day we want to be up replacing ESPN, and it's going to happen. I guarantee it. But thank you for staying with us on this journey. And any last phrases from you guys before we cut it off?
I'm excited for Thursday and Friday's episodes.
Let's go.
I'm going to leave the world with this. Paul George just said in his exit interview, internally, we've always felt that this is not a championship or bust year for us.
What a cop-out. What a soft-ass fucking reply to losing.
That's all I'm going to say.
This is the Couch Sports Talk podcast, where we get the sports the same way that you do, sitting on the fucking couch. Have a great day. Have a great night. Thank you for watching.
I need water. Help me. I need water. Help.
Hey!